The topic of this year, in one word, is Emunah. But I added or put next to it another notion, faith and rationality. Because we are in exile for so many years, after the destruction of Beit Sheni, almost 2,000 years, the Jewish ideas are in Galus, in exile. About 2,000 years ago, Christianity became a religion. 600 years after, Islam, and those two stole our ideas, stole our Tanakh, our Bible, took the major principles, twist them, and that's the way people think or understand those notions. So when we're talking about the Goyim are Goyim. Problem is that we are in exile. And we are in exile not just we are not in our land, we are not in our place. One of the major damages happened to the concept of Emunah in Hebrew, with all the translation to English and other languages, faith, trust, belief. I need much more time than we have now in order to really cover it. I'll try to just talk to the major, mention the major points. Usually I'm starting from asking you, what do you think? How do you define Emunah? Everyone here understand the word in Hebrew, Emunah? Yeah? Okay. So even when I ask to Israelis, Hebrew speakers, how to define the Emunah, it's really, really hard to get into understanding it. In order to make it short, let me ask you the following. Imagine, let's talk about this concept or the word, the notion, Emunah, to believe, not in theological terms. We speak in the everyday language and we mention this word. So again, I wanted to use it in Hebrew, but I'll use it for now in English. Imagine someone stand in front of a group of friends and tell them something that happened to him. And he said about something, I know that this is such and such, so and so. Same person, a few minutes later, about something else will say, I believe that this is such and such, so and so. Assuming that he chose the words, and about one thing he said, I know, and about other thing he said, I believe. Apparently, he means different things, right? So what is the definition of knowledge versus Emunah, versus belief, trust, faith? First of all, anyone thinks it's the same? And if not, what would be the most accurate definition that you could give? What makes something a knowledge and what is belief? What's the difference between them? What is stronger? What do you think?
I think knowledge is absolute understanding of what the concept is, and faith is not knowing what the concept is.
What do you mean concept?
The concept of whatever it is that we believe or know it. So we're talking like
When you say I know something, meaning that the thing that I know, I what?
I understand it.
Understand it, okay?
And for faith, I don't understand it, but I believe that it's going to work out.
Why?
Because that there's a certain understanding that you know, an acknowledgement of the fact that although it's beyond my understanding to understand, I'm still going to believe that it's going to work out in my best.
Based on what?
Based on our firm Emunah and acknowledgement of God.
No, I'm talking, let me be clear. I'm not talking about theological terms. When we use it in everyday language, right? When I say about trivial things, I believe something. What do I mean versus when I say I know? What makes things knowledge, okay?
Gotcha.
Yeah?
Fact. Yeah. You know, something
You're defining now what?
like fact. Like Knowledge. Is
Knowledge.
fact.
Knowledge is fact that I could.
Belief, it can be like your opinion or you feel about something.
Why do you have? How do you develop this opinion?
Because like, you can say I know for. You say I have $1 in my pocket. You say like I know for a fact I have $1 in my pocket because you know you put it in there yourself.
Right,
You
but
don't have to believe I have $1 in my pocket.
okay, but when you use believe and what is believe and where it's coming from, that's a question. What is believe? Why do you believe when you believe? What? Again, what? Just a second. When you believe, you do not have knowledge, right? You do not have facts. You do not have proofs, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's the difference.
So why do you believe? If you do not have proofs, maybe it's wrong. Why do you believe? Understand? I want to understand why people believe. Yeah.
I think it's just you believe when you don't know the outcome.
When you
don't know the outcome, what's going to happen. And when you do know the outcome, when you know what's going to happen, that's knowledge. So,
I think what you said, it's implication. When you do not know the outcome, it's implication of. But what is belief? And why do you believe? Okay. Yeah.
I think Emunah can be defined as both the combination of the knowledge that you have of the Torah.
We're not talking about Torah. No, we're not talking about theological things. I'm not talking about believe in Hashem, believe in the Torah.
Once you have a more deeper understanding of the knowledge which you have more of a belief that you know that which is a fact. That is Emunah. So
Okay.
it's a combination of both knowledge and faith.
Okay.
Their relation.
Another ideas? Yeah. You. Okay.
Oh, sorry. So I think that belief is based off of secondhand knowledge, while to know something is based on first. As in, you tell me, I was at the store yesterday. I know you generally tell the truth. You're a nice guy. I have no reason to think you wouldn't. I believe you. But I saw you at the store yesterday. I was there. First-hand knowledge. I saw it. I know it. It's fact.
So you believe now what? That I'm in the store?
I believe that you were at the store yesterday.
Really?
Just told.
That's more an estimate or assuming. Or,
Can you say to go off of the facts that I know? I know that you were gone from 3 o'clock to 3:40. I know
Okay.
there's a store there. You came back with groceries. I believe it. I don't have knowledge that 100% you're
I hear you. Okay. Another idea is yes.
Two separate things. One is knowledge, and I think that belief is basically all it builds up knowledge you have is what creates belief. So what's
So you said believe is based on knowledge. Okay.
I think belief is when evidence points to a certain conclusion, but it's not a definite, and then knowledge is when your evidence seems like it can only be pointing towards one solution.
Okay. I hear. Yeah.
I can't really determine what exactly what knowledge has, but for belief, I think it's something that you put yourself into, like you apply yourself into it.
Versus knowledge, which is?
I think that's more like, is it like you have your facts, like you know it, but it's not really you putting yourself into it.
Okay. Okay. Last opinion that we heard. No?
It's facts versus emotions.
Great. I was waiting for this. I mean, actually, it's what I think. It's what you think. Okay, but that's not all of the answers that I ever heard about it. Okay, I'll tell you major things. But I think everything that you said here is part of it. Let's start from this. Two different areas. Knowledge belongs here. To the mind, to the brain, to the logic. Belief belongs here. To the heart, to the emotions. I'm not saying that it's true, but that's what people tend to think. Let's see what will be the philosophical outcome of this. Or, okay. The other thing, I asked you before suddenly about what will be what's stronger? What do you think more stronger? Knowledge, something that I really know, or something that I really believe? What is knowledge? Okay, knowledge, believe, right? Knowledge, believe. It could be both, right? Many people tend to say that there is a difference in the level of certainty. When knowledge is something that I could check, get proofs, so the level of certainty is very high. Believe, I have some doubts. I tend to think so, because if not, I'm not believing to myself. I believe, meaning I tend to think so, but I have some doubts. Okay? So let's continue. we do not now talking about believe in Hashem or believe in the Torah. Now, let me ask you another question. If I want to verify a fact, let's say there is another room above this room, and my question to you, there is a table in the middle of the room upstairs. What would be the tools? Believe or know? Knowledge or believe? What do you think? Knowledge, right? For sure. If so, you're ready for something big. For something big. If someone will come to me and ask this question, okay, there is a table upstairs, yes or no? I could accept 3 kind of answers. Yes, there is. How do you know? I just were there, I saw it. No, there is no table upstairs. How do you know? I were there, just came from there, nothing there, empty. The other valid answer could be, I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe not. I'm lazy from going up, so I don't know. All of those are good. What will not be valid? I believe there is. Because if belief is an emotion, or it's something that comes from inside of you, see, there will be the difference between the objective and subjective. Knowledge is objective thing. When I want to verify something, any fact, let's say, what is the weather now in Paris? Be aware that the fact that I do not know it now, it doesn't, there is a weather in Paris. I mean, the knowledge is there completely. It's not up to me if I know it or not. If I want to know it, I'll call a friend in Paris, or I'll go to check out in what would be the, I could check it. I connect myself to it and then I know it. But it exists completely outside of me before I know it. Versus if I say I believe, how do I believe? If it's with my heart, with my emotion, it's with my personality. It's something subjective. Therefore, I could convince someone about knowledge. You know, you want to know something? I never knew it before. I performed some methods and I got into it, right? If you will do the same thing, the same method, you will know as much as I know, same thing. But if I say I believe or I feel something, since Hashem created the first man on earth to the end of days, there will be no 2 people that their emotions or personality is the same. So it's pointless to try to convince something to believe in something that you believe, because it's subjective. It's subjective. Now, when we go back to the verifying a fact, it's a fact. It's not, has nothing to do with how do you feel about it, right? So if there is, let's take the 2 options. If there is a table upstairs, and someone will say, I don't believe it, so don't. Is your feelings or what you believe will change the reality? If it's there, it's there. Don't believe it. It's your problem. It's not the problem of the thing. And if there is not, and you say loud, I really believe it is, so you could believe. If you will believe that the nothing is something, it will not make the nothing something. Okay? So now I'm going to throw the big barn. I heard a stupid verse so many times in my life. You could say it this way or just the opposite. Have you ever heard someone saying, I believe in God? Or I don't believe in God? Why it doesn't make any sense, according to what we said just now? Because if there is God, don't believe or believe. It doesn't make any difference. I mean, it's a fact. And to be fair, if there is no God, you know, everything become existence by random. No intelligent force that put it together. Let's check this option. There is no creator, right? And someone will come and scream, but I do believe that there is. If it's not, the thing that you think that you believe or you will have feelings doesn't create reality. Understand this? So from now on, don't ever say that. I believe in God or I do not believe in God. But some people could feel uncomfortable now. Because what do you mean? There's no room for this concept, Emunah, in Judaism? Could not be, right? So let me be clear. I'll tell you from now. Emunah is a big concept. Much deeper and much bigger than you could imagine, and we'll try now to learn it a little bit. But it's not what people think. Where it's coming from? From Christianity, from Islam. If you ask a theological person or anyone, right, not just Christianity and Islam, about their theory, about their ideas, they will eagerly answer you and talk to you and try to convince you until you'll get to the hard question. What is the hard question? Tell the person, listen, I heard you carefully, I understand your ideas, there are many good things in it, but you know what, I'm looking for how to run my life. And I'm a tourist, intellectual tourist, and I heard this and this and this and this. Could you convince me that your idea is the truth? How do I know that you're saying the truth versus other guys? They have also ideas. They will come to one request from you. You have to believe. You have to believe. If you believe, you could join us. If not, not. You know what they're saying in other words? Don't ask questions. Just accept it. If you ask too many questions, prove. No, you do not understand the first thing about religion. It's not something that you could prove. That's what they'll answer you. Is it true about Judaism? 100% no. You could ask anyone to trust you. Accept it without asking questions. Everyone. But Jews. Jews will never buy it. I was saying that the most anti-believer ever in the world was the first Jew, which was born non-Jewish, Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu was born to a whole society of people who believe, and they were not stupid the way we think in the modern society. They believe in various spiritual forces that are running the show, they're running the world, and there is a deep concept in this. It's wrong, but it's very sophisticated, therefore it's so dangerous. That's how he was born to this society. His parents taught him this way, the philosopher of his generations, and he was a not believer. If he will believe to all the stupidities that they told him, he will never become Avraham Avinu. The Rambam says that he never has a real teacher. He didn't learn the truth from a teacher. He researched and tried to understand all the concepts, and he find out that it doesn't make sense logically. So by logic, he came to the conclusion that it might be only one force that runs the show. He came to it logically, meaning he was anti-believer the way we understand believe us so far. So now, after all these philosophical things, let's learn some Torah. Okay. First of all, I have to tell you, usually I don't like the word believe me. You know, I just talk about this. Don't believe me. Don't believe anyone, ever. Always try to understand things. That's the responsible way. But I'm asking you to believe me. Actually, not really. Check it out. Check me out. It will take you a long time. It will take you a long time. What I'm asking you to believe me. You heard about the magic number 613? 613, right? We know that we have 613 mitzvahs in the Torah. I went through them more than once, twice, and even much more, looking badly for a mitzvah to believe in Hashem. Didn't find it. No mitzvah to believe in Hashem. Could you believe this? In the entire Torah, there is no mitzvah. You could go to Sefer Mitzvahs of the Rambam, or look, no mitzvah to believe in Hashem. More than that, it's not just that there is no mitzvah to believe in Hashem, there is an opposite, in a way, mitzvah. There is a pasuk in Sefer Devarim that you all should know, anyone who daven 3 times a day. We're quoting it in Aleinu L'Shabbat, but the origin is Sefer Devarim. The pasuk says the following: "V'yadata hayom, v'hashevot el levavecha, ki Hashem hu Elokim b'shamayim mimal v'al haaretz mitachat ein od." Be aware of the topic, what this pasuk speaks about. about the existing of Hashem, and that there is no one but Him. Again, וידעת היום, והשבות אל לבביך, כי Hashem הוא Elokim, He is the power, and there is no one like Him, not in the spiritual realm of the universe or the physical. Talking about the existing of God, and we should expect that the Torah will start this pasuk with the word "Vehe'emanta hayom," but the Torah says "Veyadata hayom." So it's not a matter of belief; it's a matter of knowledge. More than that, Rambam, when he started his book, Halacha book, Mishnah Torah of Rambam, right? In the first volume, in the first set of halachos, which is Hilchas Yesodei Torah, the foundation of the Torah, right? I will quote to you the first halacha. Here it's a little bit a shame that we do not have a computer presentation that you can see it in yourself, but I'll say it in Hebrew and translate the main things. This is the words of the Rambam. Yesod ha-yesodot ve'amud ha-chochmot. Yesod ha-yesodot, the foundation of foundations and the pillar of wisdom. Leida sheyesh shem matzui rishon. To know, and that his words, and he was very careful about his words. Leida, to know that there is matzui rishon, meaning a first cause, that everything that exists in the universe exists because this first cause created it. Okay, I'll not go through the exact lashon of the Rambam, that will take time. It's important, but for now it's enough. So he brings the halacha. It's not a philosophical book, it's a halacha book. And the beginning of the beginning, the first halacha is to know that there is God. He continued in halacha beis, gimel, dalet, and hey, the implications of this. And then he came to halacha vav, and let me quote to you halacha vav. After, he speaks about the same thing, that you have to know, not to believe, that there is God. And he says the following, Ve'yedi'at davar ze, halacha vav, to know these things, mitzvat aseh. It's a positive commandment. Shene'emar, Anochi Hashem Elokecha shehotzaticha me'eretz Mitzrayim mibeit avadim. So where it's written in the Torah, he didn't bring the pasuk in Devarim, he bring an earlier pasuk in Shmos, and actually it's the first commandment in the Ten Commandments. Anochi Hashem Elokecha shehotzaticha me'eretz Mitzrayim mibeit avadim. So what the Rambam says, that in this statement, Anochi Hashem Elokecha shehotzaticha Mitzrayim, I'm God who took you out of Egypt from the house of slavery, over here is the mitzvah to know that there is God. The question is how? So you're probably aware that many of the mitzvahs that we're doing is Zecher L'Yitziat Mitzrayim, in the memory of Yitzias Mitzrayim. There is something so deep in this. Let's explain. When Moshe Rabbeinu came first to Paro with the message from Hashem, Shalach et Ami v'yavdun. If you remember, the first reaction of Paro was the following. Mi Hashem asher eshma b'kolo. Who is God that I will listen to him? Lo yadati, be aware of those. Lo yadati et Hashem v'gam et Yisrael lo Hashem. I do not know him, and I'm not going to send him. I do not know him. That's what Paro says. So what was the answer of Moshe? I'll take it in my words. Oh, you do not know? Just a matter of knowledge? I'll teach you. And he gave him a course of 10 classes. Dam, Tzfardea, Kinim, right, all the play, and he learned in the hard way. What was actually the ping pong over here? What was the give and take? He said, I do not know. Moshe Rabbeinu said, okay, there is a way to know. You know how? And this is very important. You know how? I'm talking in the name of the power that created the world. He made the laws of nature. So he's in full control of them. So if you will not send them, if you want to play, you're going to pay. You're going to pay a big price. You're not sending, right? All the water going to be turned to blood. Who could do that? Apparently, only the one who created the water, who created the blood. So we give him the first class, completely failed. Why? He invited the magicians, they did the same. So that's not a proof. If it could be done by black magic, it doesn't clear-cut prove that you are, if that was the only one, or the only way, this is a proof, but it's not a proof. Same thing happened with the second plague. The frog, right? They did the same. When was the turning point? By the third Makkah. The killing, the lice, right? They tried to do it and they could not do it. And then they, the magician, came to power and told them the following. Listen, take this guy seriously. We are the top professional magician ever. There's nothing in magic that we could not do. The fact that he could do it and we didn't, it shows that it's not magic. If you remember, he said to him, Etzba Elokimi, this is the finger of God. This is not magic. But Paro was stubborn and he got the entire course until Makas B'choros. Okay? But what was the give and take over here? Moshe Rabbeinu was about the process to teach him, and this is the thing. Makos Mitzrayim could be done only, all of them, could be done only by the power who created the world. Only the one who created the laws of nature could control them completely according to his will. That was it. And I have to know that since Hashem created the world, until that point, until the Yetzias Mitzrayim, and even later, until today, usually Hashem is not reveal his power obviously in front of the entire world. That's what happened in the Yud Beis Chodesh, the 12 months of the time that the 10 plagues took place. Hashem appears in this world and shows that he is the master of the universe. And later on, by Kriyas Yam Suf, therefore, all our mitzvahs, many of them, are Zecher L'Yetzias Mitzrayim. And here, let's go back to the Rambam. Rambam says, you should know, it's a mitzvah aseh, it's a positive commandment to know that there is God. How? By the fact that Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim. So this is the Rambam. Interestingly enough, Ramban, Nachmanides, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman, agree with him in this point. No machlekes. Go to the Pirush Ramban to Aser Sadibros, go to the first commandment, Anochi Hashem Elokecha Asher Tzidkecha Mitzrayim, you'll see that the Ramban says the following. Hadibur Hazeh, says the Ramban, this commandment, mitzvat aseh, is a positive commandment. Amar Anochi Hashem, Yoreh v'yitzaveh otam, is instructing and commanding them. Be aware of those words. Sheyed'u v'ya'aminu sheyesh Hashem. Sheyed'u v'ya'aminu sheyesh Hashem. And he mentioned both concepts, both notions, Yediyah and Emunah, but in this order. First Sheyed'u and then Sheya'aminu. So the question is, why it's not enough for the Ramban to say like the Rambam? Sheyed'u. What's Emunah coming from, and how it's adding over here? Because in a way, again, according to what the simple understanding, wrong understanding of the concept of Emunah, it's funny to say that. Can I say something like this? I know that there is a table over here, and I also believe in it. Right? It sounds extra and funny. What do you mean? After you know, what do you mean you also believe? But that's what the Ramban says. Sheyed'u v'ya'aminu. And let me tell you something. The Ramban didn't make it up. He actually quoting the Novi Yeshayahu. Yeshayahu Novi at chapter 43 says the following. Again, he's talking, be aware of this passage. I'll quote you the passage. The passage speaks about the existence of Hashem. See what the Novi Yeshayahu say about it. It's pasuk Yud in Perek Mem Gimel. Atem eidai neum Hashem. You are my witnesses, says Hashem. Ve'avdi asher bacharti, and my servant that I chose. Leman ted'u ve'ta'aminu li ve'tavinu. You should know and believe me and understand. Ki anihu lefanai lo notzar el ve'acharai lo yeh. No God was before me and not after me. So it's talking again about the exclusiveness of God, and what the Navi says. You should ted'u, ta'aminu, ve'tavinu. Now we have three concepts. But first yediyah, then emunah, then understanding. What all of this shows us? That we have no clue what emunah is. Because according to what we understand what emunah, it doesn't make any sense. So after we present the question so well from the beginning, it's time to solve problems. What is emunah? I want to give you a key. Wow, really? You have 10 minutes?
20.
How could we do that? I don't know. I'll try. You know what? V'idach zil gmor. I'll tell you the beginning, the rest I'll teach Eliyahu and he will tell you. Okay, what is Emunah? I want to present a key, an amazing key, to understand any notion in Lashon HaKodesh, in the language of the Torah. We want to understand what Emunah is. So I write down over here the word Emunah, okay? Question mark. What is Emunah? The key to understand any notion, it's good for any notion. We're talking now about this particular one. It's a combination of 4 steps. Step number 1. Any word in Hebrew has a root. In grammar, you understand? You know what root is? The root is 3 letters in Hebrew that all the derivatives come from the same root. It's like a tree that you have many branches and many leaves, but each one of them is connected to the trunk under the ground connected to the root. If you have the root, you have everything. So in grammar, we will go to the root. What is the root of this notion, Emunah? 3 words, 3 letters. Aleph, Mem, Nun. I'm not talking about the word, I'm talking about the letters, which is the combination of them will give us many things, okay? Aleph, Mem, Nun. This is the root. That's step number 1. Step number 2, after you know what the root is, gather together as many derivatives of the same root that you could, okay? Let's do it. I'll put on the board 5 out of many, but 5. Derivative number 1, okay, there are no connections between, apparently, it's not, you cannot find something that we could say must be connection between those notions, derivatives. But the fact is that the common denominator is the root. The root is the same. So derivative number 1 is the word in Hebrew aminut. Aminut, which is reliability. A person, a reliable person, or a company, a reliable company. In Hebrew, how do you say it? Aminut. And the root is Aleph, Mem, and Nun. Derivative number 2, ne'emanut. Ne'eman is faithful or loyal, right? Ne'eman. Same root. Derivative number 3, imun, lehit amen, imun, which is training, exercise, training, imun. Derivative number 4, omanut, art. Art is oman, omanut, right? Oman's an artist. Derivative number 5 is omenit. Omenit. About Moshe Rabbeinu it says, כאשר יישא האומנת היונק, about Mordechai. ויהי אומנת הדסה. About Naomi in Megillas Ruth. She was the omenet of Oved Avi Yishai Avi David. So what is omenet? Omenet is not a nanny. Omenet is a foster mother. Someone who is in charge to develop the personality of this little kid in order to give him a very good beginning point in his life. Okay? So be aware of those 5. Remember them by heart, right? I'll repeat them. Number 1, aminut, reliability. Number 2, ne'emanut, faithfulness or loyalty. Number 3, imun, training or exercise. Number 4, omanut, art. Number 5, foster mother, omenet. There are more, but it's enough for now. Amen, as we mentioned before, it's also a word in Hebrew to confirm something, right? To say amen. Or if I say omnam, yeah. Omnam, it's like this, but omnam. Okay. So this is number 2 in the 4 steps. Number 1 again, verify the root. Number 2, gather together derivatives that came from the same root. Number 3, take each one of those derivatives, try to define it in the most accurate, thorough definitions. I'll do it in brief, and it's chaval, because right here is the big boom. But what can do? What do you mean? Okay, it will take me more. Anyways, I'll try to do it in rush. Let's define reliability. What's reliability? If someone come and tell you and promise you the words, right? He's not reliable yet. There is a condition. What's the condition? Only after being tested. He promised something. Okay, go check it out. If it's a company, see, the customers are happy. And if they have one product, another product, third product, fourth product for years, and always they promise and everything is exactly as they said, then they gain reliability, right? So reliability is not coming just from nothing, it's after being tested. Number 2, faithfulness. How you could say, what is the condition to say that someone is faithful? Faithful. Faithfulness is also the condition. The condition is that you face a temptation, and because you're faithful, you have the strength to push the temptation out in order to be faithful. But only with the temptation, right? Without the temptation, you never know if this person, maybe, you know, if you take, I don't know if I could give this example. I could?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Take a couple, right, that got married, put them in isolated island. Come back after 5 years. And they sit together. And they're happy. And they're smiling to each other. Nice. But could you send it to say, this is an example of faithfulness? No, what's missing? Maybe because there is no choice, because there is no alternative. So the more stronger the temptation is, the more effort you need to, in order to push it, in order to be faithful. That shows your faithfulness. Okay, that's number 2. We defined it. Okay, number 3. Exercise. Let's say in sport. You know that we are lazy. It's not just me, I know. We are lazy. We're not doing anything unless there is a good reason for us to do it. So how come a crazy guy will come and do exercise and torture themselves? Because they have a goal. And if they're realistic, they know the goal is, you could get it, but you need to work for it. The more you're convinced that you could do it, it gives you a motivation to do it. So what do you do in training, in sports, let's say? You have a potential that's not actualized yet, and you have motivation to actualize it. In sports, it's by physical effort. Okay? So this is the definition of Emunah. Amen is to have a goal that they have to actualize it by effort. Art. Number 4. Art. What is art? Artists go, let's say, for a trip, and he saw a beautiful scenery that really touched a very subtle string in his heart. Right? He came back home, he saw a beautiful scenery. He came home, he took a canvas, he took colors and put it together. He made a picture of it. He's so professional, he made it HD 3D. If you put this on the wall, people who come to the room will be sure that there is a window over here, and they're really seeing it in 3Ds, right? That's amazing piece of art. What actually are we doing over here? I mean, what is the idea? You want to share something, not physical. Something above. I don't know. He got excited from this. So he wanted to share it with people. How we do it? By taking physical things and put them together in a way that it will radiate or broadcast or share his ideas, right? So let's define it this way. It's also a potential, actualizing potential, but the potential over here is not physical. So let's define it this way. Art is from abstract to tangible. Through tangible thing, I sharing something abstract. Last thing is a foster mother. Foster mother is much more complicated than all the above. And actually, if you take the last 3, you could see that each one of them is actualizing a potential. In sports, I take undeveloped muscles, make them developed. But even after I put them develop, I make them develop, it's still physical. In art, we have one level up, right? I take not something physical, an idea, an abstract, and I want to share it through physical. Now let's go to the foster mother. She has a goal also, right? She wants to develop the personality of this kid. What she has to do? What's her goal? To create a harmony between, and precise balance between all the many various forces of the body and the soul of this particular person, this particular kid. So her job is very, very difficult. First of all, she has to be super professional in psychology, to know all the human character, the good ones, the bad ones. That's the first thing. Second, diagnose, exact diagnostic of what is in here. And it's very hard. Why? Because since Hashem created Adam to the end of days, there will be no two people that will have the same exact combination. Therefore, it's very difficult to educate. No method in education. You have to learn this person. That's what Shlomo HaMelech told us. Chanoch lanar al pi darko. Well, we're in derech over here, right? Everyone has his own derech. And you have to learn the derech of this particular one in order to give them what they need in order to be developed. The other thing is to realize what's the good attributes and what's the not too good attributes. Develop and encourage the good ones. Not destroy the not good ones, because that will cause a reaction, but use them as tools in order to express the good ones. And you have to know when to do what. Because if you will wait too much, if you will try to develop too fast, maybe premature. You wait, maybe you will lose the train. So that's a very, very responsible job, the foster mother. Okay, we did number 3, now we have to go to the number 4 and conclude with this. After we verified the root, we gathered together derivatives. We defined each one of them. Here's the key, and this is unbelievable. If you take each one of the derivatives, and actually here we're taking the one that not part of the derivatives that we just defined. We're talking about Emunah that came from the same root, right? Take the notion of Emunah and go through all the definitions, you will find how enriched and amazing is the concept. What is Emunah? Here's the answer. Emunah is, first of all, number 1. It should be reliable. Don't believe to any story. Don't believe to stories or theories that could not be proven. Because what is number 1? It should be reliable. What is the definition of reliability? Only after being tested. Ask all the relevant questions, get all the relevant answers, then you know. Then what happened? It's become a knowledge. And here we ask, if it's a knowledge, what room left for Emunah? The answer is, from all the derivatives, number 2. What is number 2? To be reliable, to be loyal and faithful to what you know. You know what is the definition of Emunah? Emunah could come only after a knowledge, after a complete 100% knowledge. After you know, now you have to be faithful to what you know. This is Emunah. And that's what the Pasuk exactly said. Be aware of the Pasuk. V'yadata hayom. Where are you knowing? Here. V'yadata hayom, here. Then, after you know it here, v'hashevot elevavecha. Connect your heart to it. What is the heart? The heart is the engine to go for things, to do things. So you have to connect your heart to your mind. After the mind verified the truth, now your job is not to be in a contradiction between what you know to how do you act. How do you do? This is Emunah. Emunah is to be faithful, to be loyal for the reliability of the truth. It's hard. Because even if you know for sure something, human nature proved itself so irresponsible, you could know something and do just against what you know, not about what you do not know. People who are smoking, right? They know 100% that it's not good. And yet they're doing it. Why? Because many excuses. To be loyal means no contradiction between what you know and what How do you act? How do you do that? By training yourself. And this is number 3. What's training? In the beginning, when you start, it's really hard. But when you do it again and again and again and again, you'll be the champion. So Hashem gave us 613 exercises. If you do it again and again and again and again, what will be the result, the outcome? A piece of art. A piece of art. But it's not just a stone that you make out of it a statue. It's more close to a foster mother, like a real person. But Emunah is one step above this. Why? Because the most amazing, devoted foster mother spent her life, or his life, telling others what to do. You know what Emunah? Emunah is telling yourself and build yourself, and that will be the most amazing piece of art. This is Emunah. In Ma'ariv tonight, we sang this right after we finished Shema. The third parsha of Shema, אני השם אלוקיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוקים, אני השם אלוקיכם. What are the next 2 words? Emet ve'emunah. So first is the emes. It should be emes, and it is emes. And then the emunah is the rest of the job, which is hard. But Baruch Hashem, here in Derech, you're going for it. And B'ezrat Hashem, I wish all of you and us success. This is what we could cover. There is much more, but this is it for now. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful. Brilliant.